Hello, today 44 out of 100. I was already in a bit of a iffy mood today, but I just recorded a very meaningful, like a candid video, and it fucking stopped recording halfway through. So that's a little bit frustrating. I think the Apple Watch camera control thing is kind of fucking stupid. So I'm gonna try to talk about everything I just talked about, which felt pretty emotionally draining, and hopefully it feels the same way it did when I first recorded it, but I'm sort of not expecting that to happen at this point, so we will see. Today felt a little bit off. Well, today started a little bit iffy. It started a bit iffy today. Which I don't know why I started to feel that way today, but I mean, because like, first of all, in terms of my commitments, I actually did remember to do my writing this morning. Granted, it was maybe 15 minutes before I remembered suddenly, and I at first had this urge to get up out of bed. I mean, am I scared? I first had this urge to just not do it, and just, it felt very out of my way. As soon as I felt that, I pretty much immediately just got out of bed and came over to my desk and did the writing on the prompt that it asked me to write about. And at first it was pretty slow, and it felt very just like what am I supposed to be writing about? Like, what was the topic again? How am I supposed to write for 10 minutes about this? And just at the tail end of the 10 minutes, I started to actually feel like I started seeing all the things I wanted to write about. And then the timer ended, and if I didn't have any instructions, I would have probably continued to write, but the book was pretty specific about limiting to exactly 10 minutes, because if I wrote for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, the next morning when I do this again, I might think, oh, I can't do another 20, 30 minutes of this. And then it turns into no minutes, and then it just turns into another thing that I said I would do that I didn't do. So I just stuck to 10 minutes and stopped. My no time and no NSFW content thing has been going fine. I haven't done that stuff in 6 days, which may not sound like a long time, but it hasn't felt like a short amount of time. And I don't know if I'm feeling any benefits of that right now, other than the fact that I'm saving maybe half an hour to an hour a day. I've heard a lot of good side effects can come from it, but so far I'm just kind of feeling like I'm just holding off from doing something that feels good. Specifically about the self-pleasuring, not necessarily the content thing, because like I could still probably do it without watching anything, but I'm trying this whole steaming retention thing, and I feel like if I don't do it long enough and don't feel the benefits this time, I'll probably never consider doing it again. And I don't know if that's something that I want, so just continuing that. I think it's been a little over 2 weeks since I stopped smoking weed, and that's still been pretty, really easy. I definitely feel the benefits from that. I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. Or actually, I was cleaning up my drawers today and I found some edibles, and for a moment I felt like wanting to try it, but I pretty much immediately felt like, I don't want to feel groggy and lazy and low energy. So, I mean, maybe that's overall a pretty good interaction. But yeah, that feels pretty easy to do and pretty easy to continue. Because I feel a massive difference in my life from quitting weed for now. The gym this week has been okay. I'm supposed to be on a deload week, which is essentially where I still go 5 days a week, except all the weights are cut in almost half, and all the reps are cut in almost half, and it's just supposed to be a chance for me to let my body recover and for myself to psychologically recover before my next mesocycle, where I restart a new 6 to 8 week cycle of exercising that gradually gets harder until the last week where I have another deload week. But this week, instead of doing my deload week, I just did 3 really hard workouts, and there's slight feelings of disappointment and guilt from that, because I just went off from my cycle, my routine, and I think that really just happened because of this beach vacation I'm going on with my family in a month, and me wanting to be in the best shape I can possibly be in by then, and so there's this feeling of I don't need a rest, I can just keep going hard in the gym. But then a part of me still felt but I do need a rest, so maybe let's just go less this week and go harder on the days that I do go. But I don't know how that's going to work out, and I'll have to see next week when I start going back to the gym and see how I feel. But yeah, felt a little bit about that, but also just glad to have some hard workouts. And the cooking thing has been going well still. I cooked today too, and that I'm pretty proud about, because as, again, shameful as this is to admit, for the last few years when I've been alone at New York here, probably 99.5% of my meals have been delivery or basically fast food, with the occasional restaurant outing by myself. And in the last 2 weeks or so that I've been here, I haven't gotten delivery once, and I've only eaten out once by myself. So that's a pretty big shift for me in my lifestyle. And it just feels really great to be in control of everything that's going into my body and not feeling guilty at all about what I'm eating. Because when you eat out, like I really have no idea how much oil they're using in their foods and like what sort of ingredients they're using, and it stresses me out a little bit, like just the mystery of it when I'm trying to be strict about my dieting. So my commitments have been good, but today, like I'll walk you through the morning. I woke up, I didn't do the no phone immediately after I woke up. I spent maybe 10-15 minutes looking through just like, I don't know, like YouTube and some messages, and then I went to do the writing. I went to do business in the restroom, and I don't know why I'm censoring poop of all things. I pooped, and I showered, and I got ready, I got dressed, I packed my things for the gym, and then I came out here and made a quick breakfast. And as I was making breakfast, I noticed on my cereal, on the nutrition facts, something about dietary fiber, and I remember a friend of mine mentioning that dietary fiber is insoluble in your body, and so it doesn't count for calories. And I didn't I didn't really believe him at the time. I was like, okay, but it just didn't make sense to me. But I remembered that suddenly after reading that, and then I was talking to ChatGPT about that, and it was basically confirming exactly what he said. And that frustrated me because I'm being very intentional what I'm eating, intentional about what I'm eating, and I'm on a cut right now with a pretty big caloric deficit, like 500 calories. And yeah, I cut a lot of carbs, but the idea that I've been this intentional about my diet and I've just been tracking it incorrectly the whole time has really just it was really frustrating, because to be this intentional about something like this, that you put so much energy into, and then to find out that you were doing it incorrectly is just oh fuck. It's just fuck. And it also meant that I could have just been eating more. And I didn't have to feel as hungry as I've been feeling lately. And so that was just kind of frustrating to realize. And it was slightly stressful to just realize that there was this whole other layer of tracking that I had to do from now on, where if I got an item and put in the macros, I still had to look into another detail, essentially the dietary fiber, and subtract that from my daily intake, and just go from there. And so that was just and so I was feeling slightly frustrated, and then my girlfriend called me, and I answered, and we were talking for a little bit when she pointed out that my mood felt kind of down today, and I didn't notice that really until she pointed it out. And when she pointed it out, it took a moment. I think she asked me if anything was wrong, and I took a moment and I said that I feel like maybe I just don't want to talk right now. Maybe my exact words were, I don't think I want to talk right now. And that felt really bad to say. I felt really guilty about saying that, and there were two main reasons I felt guilty about saying that, And those two reasons were that I felt like I could have said it in a more gentle way, because I don't think it was necessarily mean, but I don't think it, like, I just feel like it could have been presented more gently. But I just straight up said, I don't want to talk right now. And so I felt bad about that, because I felt like I could have hurt her feelings. And the other reason I felt bad is just because, like, it felt like, the reason I said that is because I'm trying to do this thing where I'm being more aware of my boundaries and not letting people cross them, and trying to get comfortable with telling people no. And when I told her essentially no, like, I don't want to call right now, I felt really guilty about that. And that was, like, that didn't feel right. I know I'm not supposed to feel guilty about that, but I did. And that, it kind of sucks. Like, I know my relationships in the long term would be better off if I get better at that. If I get better at saying no to things. And I know that's better for my happiness long term. But it's hard, like, like, I know that if I didn't say that and I continued to have like a 10, 15, 20-minute call, I probably would have gotten annoyed, and I probably would have gotten, like, accidentally mean, just like unintentionally. I would have started to, my tone probably would have shifted to being like actually kind of mean. And I would have regretted it afterwards anyways. Like, I know that now, but in the moment, it really fucking sucked to just have to be intentionally like not cater to what this person who I love and care about wanted, and to like bring her down, like bring her mood down a little bit. And yeah, I've just been feeling pretty down most of today because of that. And before I started recording this video, I was like slightly more okay. Like I cleaned around again today. I cooked myself a really big meal. I have my second to last meal prepped. I bought groceries again. I got this nice little buddy here. This flower. These flowers. I got a little more flowers, and I got a little basil plant today that I'm just gonna be, watering and taking care of for the next few days or weeks. And so, I mean, it's nice to just like have these things, and it's nice to have tidied up and to have taken care of myself. But then when I sat down to talk about this, or to record this video, I felt myself feeling like I was debating on whether or not to talk about this today, about this incident with this call with my girlfriend. But seeing as how I felt like avoiding it, I felt like, okay, I probably have to talk about this now. And so when I sat down to talk about this, my mood, it dropped a little more because I was just kind of dreading talking about this. And yeah, now I just feel this way, and I don't want the rest of my day to feel like this because I know I don't need to feel this way. But I do, so I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. Maybe go out on my terrace and get some air or something. I would say I could go outside and take a walk or something, but it's been raining on and off, and I honestly don't want to deal with the rain right now. I realized when I was recording this video for the first time, but I think that the best way for me to feel better would be to just know that my girlfriend is okay. Because it sucked to tell her no today, and I feel bad about the way I said it, and I'm worried that I may have hurt her feelings. And I know I'm not supposed to base my feelings off of other people's feelings because that's not a healthy way to approach that. And I've gotten a lot better about doing that over the last few years, but I don't know, right now I just feel sorry, and I think I would feel better if I knew that she was feeling fine. And if she's not feeling fine, then I just have to, come to terms with that and just accept the consequences of not being as intentional as I could with my words and choosing better words, and just learn from that. But maybe just sit in this gunk for a day or two. But if she is fine, then I feel like I could probably just move on from these feelings a little easier. And I haven't felt this way in a little while, but I think it's specifically because I intentionally chose to say no and possibly hurt her feelings instead of doing what I normally would do, which is just what's the word? I can't think of the word other than in Korean, but just hold it and hold it and hold it until I accidentally lash out in annoyance or I just build some amount of resentment, and then I unintentionally be mean to her. That was the alternative. But since I chose this time to be intentional with possibly hurting her feelings, this is the first time that I've had to do that since I've established with her that I was gonna try to be more aware of my boundaries and try to say no to things sometimes. and it didn't feel good. It did not feel good. And I'm hoping that it doesn't always feel this way. But at least this time, like, I know a big part of the reason it feels this way is because I just expressed it poorly. But yeah, I don't know, it's just fucked up my day. Weirdly enough, talking about it a second time in the last, I don't know, like 40 minutes now, I feel slightly better about it now. But I don't know. Like, I think also today was just the first day in a while again where I'm hitting this, like I'm outside of this. I lost that streak of that uppity mood. And so maybe I'm afraid that this is just like the start of a new, like, down wave. I don't know. It's probably not, but you know, when you're feeling this way, it's easy to get the flu. It's hard to be optimistic. But yeah, I think that's essentially everything I covered in the first video. And yeah, now I'm tired. And I need to do some work, but I really don't want to anymore, and that's stressing me out too. But now that I said that out loud, I probably will. Hopefully. No, I'm going to. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to end the day on a good note, and if I don't, then I'll just try to be better tomorrow. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry I was cursing so much in the beginning. Didn't feel good to bring that energy into the introduction, but I was frustrated. This is new, and you know, I thought it'd do things smoothly, but it can't. This is the second time where it cut off my camera recording early, and I'm not using this again, so I'm just going back to this. Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating, but whatever. It's fine. I have a solution, so I will see you again tomorrow.